Next question.
Sir, what is your opinion on lateral entry into bureaucracy?
What did I say so far?
So is support.
So what did I say?
Yes, sir. Can you
So when I say there must be competition for all key positions, anybody must be able to compete, what does it mean?
Has to be.
So you are looking for that word, lateral entry. So, okay, next.
Myself is Naresh Kumar, sir. I did my MBBS from Andhra Medical College, sir.
Okay.
Right now I am working as Assistant Access Superintendent Ongole, sir.
Assistant?
Access Superintendent, sir.
Why the hell did you go to exercise superintendent from medicine?
Actually, I put thrice for a civil center, sir.
Okay.
But I couldn't clear, sir.
So this glamour for civil services.
Yes,
All right, okay, go on.
sir, these days cannabis consumption has been increased to a certain level, sir. And there is a counter argument that why can't can we legalize the cannabis? Sir?
Good question. You're a doctor. What's your thinking?
This is actually my last year's question also, sir, in interview.
Hmm.
But I
What is your answer?
I actually I express my opinion that I am against legalizing of cannabis, sir.
Why?
Sir, I felt like it's already enough things to have recreational drugs, sir. Like for example, there is already regularized alcohol, and there is consumption of tobacco is also there, sir. Why do we want one more thing to have a recreation? Because it's not we are not going to use cannabis as a therapeutic.
So what did the examiners say? Which exam did they ask this question?
Civil center.
UPSC.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So they said like we are losing revenue. California did it and some Indonesia did it. Every country is going to do these days. Why can't we get revenue out of it?
Anybody else? What do you think? I can give an answer, that's my answer, but I want you to think. We're all, in India, we've become adept at mugging up. That's not a personality test. That's not being a sensible citizen or a good official. So think.
And they said like even consumption of cannabis gives better thinking ability. Do you support it?
I got it. So, what do you think? Come on.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. I think cannabis is considered as a gateway drug because once a person gets addicted to it, after a certain time he develops a certain resistance to that drug and he doesn't get that kind of high feeling. So it then goes to higher drugs like other drugs. So considering it as a gateway drug, it is necessary that it be banned. Not good.
Is ghee consumption good or bad for health?
I think in moderate amount it's good.
It's terrible, I can tell you as a doctor. It's a saturated fatty acid. In my home, there's no ghee. But supposing I govern the state, shall I ban ghee? So, what is the criteria on which you ban something? First of all, just because it's your whim, somehow, like a nizam, somehow it occurred to you in the middle of the night, God appeared before you and then you give a farman. We are in a constitutional democracy. So why do you ban or unban anything? First of all, go to the fundamentals. In other words, what's the meaning of liberty?
On grounds of public health or morality, sir. To these grounds, we can have a reasonable restrictions of.
So ghee is bad for health. We are convinced.
Yes, sir. But
Do you ban ghee?
Yes, sir. But that doesn't give any addiction to the individual that he have to eat ghee every day, sir.
Ask the fellows with 150 kilograms of weight. The pot-bellied fellows who eat indiscriminately, you think there's no addiction to food?
So, but
Or oily food or ghee?
Sir, but there won't be any withdrawal syndrome, sir, at least. There won't be any withdrawal
Now you
syndrome.
change the goalpost. Ask a fellow who is very big and fat, who eats very big meals, ask him to stop eating. See how much withdrawal syndrome there will be. I'm challenging you. So when do you ban anything? What right does the state have to ban anything? At what stage does the state's prohibition apply? When is it reasonable? When is it not reasonable?
Going out of control.
Hmm?
Public order. When it destroys affect the public order.
Okay.
So consumption of cannabis may affect the public order in Pandagudi.
Consumption of alcohol?
Alcohol, but the effect of cannabis
Do you know that?
No.
Do you know how many people alcohol kills? It's the largest killer among all the addictive drugs in the world. Do you know how many people's health is spoiled? Do you know how many people die in accidents because of alcohol consumption? Do you know how many people commit crimes while drunken? Trust me, alcohol is the worst. So when do you ban anything? First go to fundamentals. Later we can go to merits and demerits of this particular case. There's individual, there's the state. You and I are free to do pretty much what we like. Nobody, your collector, your district magistrate, your superintendent of police, your minister, your chief minister, prime minister, nobody has a right to tell you what you should do. But they have a right to tell us what you should not do only when. This is important. Your actions, your exercise of freedom is hurting the others. Because what is state? What is law? It is reconciling individual freedom with public good. If exercise of my freedom is hurtful to the general public in a demonstrable way, then the state must intervene. I must not impose my views on you, what you dress, whom you pray, whom you love, what you read, what you study, what you practice, none of my business. Provided what you do does not hurt others. That's why the famous adage, your freedom, sir, ends where my nose begins. Just because I have freedom, I can't simply do this and hit Durga Prasad on the nose. That must be banned. Until that time, I can do pretty much what I like. Only thing I'll be a buffoon. It's my choice. So first, go back to where and when and how and why we restrain anybody's freedom. Then come to cannabis. Is there any evidence that cannabis is hurting other people? Is there any evidence that cannabis is actually causing any serious violence or anything in society? When was cannabis banned in India? You are a police officer, or excise officer, so you're dealing with this, though it's a central excise issue. So, when was it banned? It was banned in 1988. Foolishly, because there was a global convention, some idiot somewhere put it in that convention. And we meekly followed suit. Rest of the world is now unbanning and we are sticking to that. Why? Because of foolish taboos created on the one hand, because of the propensity for phenomenal corruption. There's a fantastic opportunity to make money now. Understand the motives first. The Shah Rukh Khan's son was alleged to have been found in possession of 1 gram of cannabis or something. That was also disputed. Let's assume he was in possession. The rascals asked for some 10 or 15 crore rupees for bail. So a phenomenal source of corruption is opened up. And therefore, the status quoist arguments are very powerful. You can give all kinds of things. But we are not here for status quo. We are here to look at what is the public good, what is the ratio. First of all, on freedom grounds, when your consumption of cannabis is not affecting me, there is no constitutional ground for ban. But because our courts don't understand the Constitution, our political parties don't understand, our media doesn't understand, unfortunately, this elementary thing is simply escaping our attention. But leave that aside. Go into the merits of the issue. There is no medical evidence that cannabis harms an individual. It's not addictive. It may help, it may not help, it's up to you. But if you're enjoying something without hurting me, I don't see why I should bother about it. My life is not about stopping you from enjoying yourself. Somebody enjoys watching films. I may not like it. Somebody watches all the dishum films. But it's for you to enjoy. I'm not here to stop you, even if you're doing something stupid. Right? As long as you're not hurting somebody else. The second is, by criminalizing harmless drugs, you're only creating an extremely dangerous climate in society. Even very harmful addictive drugs like opiates world over, Portugal is a good example. Portugal had tremendous problem, a tiny country. Portuguese were the colony holders of Goa, for instance, a tiny country, but they had tremendous drug problem, violence, death, overdosing, all kinds of things. I'm not talking of cannabis, I'm talking of hard drugs. What did they do? They decriminalized the consumption. Instead of criminalizing the fellow for possession of 1 gram or something or whatever equivalent is there and putting him in jail, they actually created a massive program of de-addiction. It's a medical problem. They went after the supply chains because these are criminal gangs making billions of dollars and probably running into trillions across the world, the drug trade, and preying upon the weaknesses of the people. So they went after the supply chains. So consumption is not criminalized. There's a rap on the knuckles, but more help the person come out of the addiction. And they did a few things similar. There's a remarkable change in the Portuguese society. Crime has come down, overall consumption has come down, addiction has come down. So even in case of hard drugs, there is no case to criminalize and pretend as if the world has fallen. If some fellow consumed a bit of morphine or something, it's better to deal with it in a very practical way. In case of cannabis, there's no case at all. Young people, world over, you're all young. They all do stupid things. That's what youth is about. Has one of you not done anything stupid in your life? Knowing full well cigarette is bad, have you not smoked or attempted to smoke? Knowing that alcohol is not a very good thing, have you not attempted a sip of alcohol or some other silly thing? That is the nature of youth. I remember as a 10-year-old or 11-year-old kid in a village, అదిలో గోగుపుల్లు ఉండే. గోగుపుల్లు అంటే తెలుసా? గోగునార, గోగుపుల్లు అంటారు. ఇట్ హ్యాస్ ఎ హాలో అనమాట. దాన్ని తీసుకుని దాంతో సిగరెట్ లాగా. I didn't know what a cigarette was. There's no way of smoking because my lungs would not take it. But just take a puff, throw out. That is your rebellion. Every kid does it. Now, if that rebellious attitude goes in the direction of a harmless recreational pursuit, chances are that it will not go in a more harmful way. If you treat the harmless recreational pursuit as serious as a dangerous drug addiction, then you are guaranteeing that society has a tremendous problem in the guise of protecting society. From liberty point of view, constitutional grounds is wrong. But leave that aside because we are a confused country. Thanks to Mahatma Gandhi, prohibition of alcohol, this, that. No, Indians don't understand what is liberty, what is not. But from a practical point of view, for instance, hard liquors are becoming very popular. For a variety of reasons, banning alcohol is not a good option. I'm always opposed to that. But I'm not in favor of liquor consumption. I led the largest movements in Andhra Pradesh, combined Andhra Pradesh against liquor consumption. I mobilized people on a large scale. Banning is not an option. But you must find viable options. Supposing you have soft liquors, very low alcohol content. Chances are that they'll go to the pubs and enjoy that, but they will not go for hard liquors and then damage their liver and their health and then the public order and peace. So you have to have a pragmatic approach even in case of hard drugs. This is not a hard drug at all. Until 1988, it was perfectly normal. And throughout our culture and history, ganja is a very normal thing. It's part of the culture, religion, and heavens have not fallen. Even narcotics, the opiate drugs, I remember my grandfather and others at a certain age, because sleeplessness is a problem for elderly people. నల్లమంది అనేవాళ్ళు ఆ రోజుల్లో అన్రిఫైన్డ్ వాళ్ళు ఓపియం పాపీ అక్కడ మొక్కలు ఉంటాయి మామూలుగా దాన్ని కొంచెం ఆకుని ఏదో చేస్తారు పేస్ట్ చేస్తారు ఆ పేస్ట్ తినేవాళ్ళు ఏమయ్యేది కదా బాగా పట్టుకునే వాళ్ళు అంతే నథింగ్ హ్యాపెండ్ దే ఓన్లీ గెట్ కాన్స్టిపేషన్ ఇఫ్ యూ టేక్ ఓపియేట్స్ యూ గెట్ కాన్స్టిపేటెడ్ దట్స్ అ ప్రాబ్లం బట్ దట్స్ అ డిఫరెంట్ ఇష్యూ సో బై ఓవర్ రియాక్టింగ్ ఓవర్ స్టేటింగ్ getting apoplectic about it, you are actually creating a problem and you are creating a huge demand for these drugs. The mafia is making a killing. There's a film called Traffic. I think the lead actor was Michael Douglas. That's the point they also make. So the way we are dealing with drug policy world over, America in particular, and India is aping America in this respect very foolishly. It has not reduced consumption of even hard drugs. I'm not talking of recreational drugs which are harmless, even hard drugs. But it created a market, it enhanced the price, it created a vast mass of addicted people, it created massive organized crime and drug cartels, which are uncontrollable now. So on balance, it's very stupid to ban ganja. Regulate it, license it, and leave it at that. And if people have to consume something, encourage them to go towards ganja and stuff like that rather than going towards narcotics. Narcotics means the opiates, etc. Because they are addictive. Addiction is a physical dependence. The word addiction is used loosely by people who don't understand. First there is psychological, first there is tolerance of the drug. If you now take 1 gram, tomorrow 2 grams will give you the same effect. So tolerance. Then psychological dependence. Then finally physical dependence. If you don't take it, the body is now rebelling. Body's chemistry is altered. Those drugs are extremely dangerous. Whatever we do, we must do whatever it takes to minimize that consumption. But in a practical way, not the way America does. So on balance, his interviewers are right in my opinion, and he is wrong. But nothing wrong in being wrong. After all, in a policy discussion, there are no absolute truths. But an honest and open kind of a conversation is required. But think calmly and rationally. Very often, we are uninformed by facts. We have no understanding of any evidence. There is no clarity in logic. We go by impressions. Drugs, kya hai sab? I don't consume alcohol. But if that is the basis on which I come to conclusions about somebody who consumes a bit, that is wrong. I have not ever tried any drug. If that's the basis on which you come to the conclusion, that's wrong. It's not your personal predilections. It is not your whimsicality. It is a rational approach to public policy. First is it right or wrong constitutionally? Can you curtail individual liberty? Second is this the most pragmatic way of achieving the desired goal or not? Both must be examined very carefully. You rethink, read some literature. There is actually a book written by one general law school chap, I forgot his name, Khargesh, I think, Khagesh or something, on this subject exclusively. Okay? So it's a good question, a complex question, but unless you have mastery of the big picture, what is liberty, what is the right of the government to curtail individual liberty, and the specifics of this particular case, and a deeper understanding of the global developments, the medical facts, and India's current situation, the chances are that the answer will be somewhat disjointed or even faltering. Got it? But a good question. It's a great question.
Like and subscribe Eagle Media Works.